What up? It's Jack, aka Just a Cunt here, and today we are going to talk about the fights that the UFC needs to make. Specifically, I will be going over 4 fights among multiple weight divisions that I feel have a good mix of fun, legacy, things that make sense, and overall fights in general that I feel are the best fights that either are overlooked, fights that people do not talk about that much, or fights that were talked about a lot but people just forgot about. So nonetheless, enough of the rap. Let's get into the first one. Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland 2. Now this fight is interesting. It's kind of one that I debated putting on this list. While I do feel like this fight is very interesting because I'm someone that likes to give all-time greats or very technical fighters, I'm always interested to see what they do differently in the rematch, like how well they can, for example, right, Charles Oliveira, he's someone who, when he fights someone, I always know it's going to be almost like a dice roll, right? This is coming from my favorite fighter, Charles Oliveira. I know that if he fights Justin Gaethje, there's certain times where he is caught in TKO, right? There's certain time when he fights Ilya that he may kick him, or, you know, he's I don't want to say a fluky fighter, but he's someone that if I expect him to go through rematches, I don't expect him to be too crazy. Except with Michael Chandler, but Michael Chandler's kind of shit. But he did look more technically superior in the second fight. Kind of. I don't know. Hard to say. Nonetheless, you get the point. Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland. I've heard a lot of shit from Kenny Okoye about how this fight just magically doesn't count. This fight just doesn't count. Izzy just was fucking dog shit in this fight, apparently. Now, do I subscribe to that? Not necessarily. But I can see the argument where at the end of the day, if Israel Adesanya had some sort of injuries, or he had some wear and tear, or he's like came right back from knocking out Pereira and then hopped right in, some interesting circumstances, you know, a lot of getting burnt out, a lot of fights back to back to back, you know. So it'd be interesting to see this. In addition to this, the middleweight division is kind of clogged up right now. Robert Whittaker, Rainer de Ridder, and Mavov, Caio Borralho, DDP, Hamzat, Marvin Vettori, Brendan Allen. The only person kind of left out here is Anthony Hernandez, and between these guys, I feel like I'm not super interested in a matchup between Hernandez and these guys. I feel like against Izzy, he should be able to, at this point in his career. Izzy does have a style that I think he can finish him, because I think he can land some body shots where it seems like Hernandez is a little bit weak to that. I think Izzy can do good, and Strickland, same thing. I think that one could be interesting, but as an Anthony Hernandez fan, I think both of those guys are harder fights for him, besides maybe the Izzy can. Maybe. At this point in his career, may struggle with a guy like Hernandez, but I still want to see this fight. I think it's interesting. Sean Strickland's kind of a weird part in his career where even if Hamzat becomes champion, it's hard for me to just say he can win his way back to his title. There are a lot of fights I feel like he can win. I think he could beat Mavov again. I think he could beat Borralho again. I think he could beat aforementioned Anthony Hernandez. I think he beat Roman Dolidze. I think he's arguably the third best middleweight right now, besides Hamzat and DDP. Izzy, on the other hand, I think if I'm Israel, I'm not necessarily trying to get back to a belt, because obviously lost to DDP, looked good in that fight, but the older he gets, it's just going to be harder to make a already very close competitive fight lead his way. And also coming off a KO loss, and against Hamzat, that's like the worst matchup, period. Even if it's prime Izzy, Hamzat's like the worst matchup ever, and, you know, very difficult just fight overall. So for me right now, if you're Israel, I feel like you should try and rewrite win or losses. So against Strickland, you know, if you beat Strickland, it kind of gives more, it makes the first loss look better, obviously. And I think this fight can be interesting. I think Israel against DDP was more aggressive. I'd be interested to see how Adesanya fights on the front foot more against Strickland, or at least varies the attack more. I feel like he was trying to just, like, the leg kicks didn't get off and he just couldn't get his game started, and he just kind of froze from there. He, you know, just kept going for switch kicks, kept going for naked right hands, got dropped, may have changed that fight where he's a little bit more skittish, you know. I want to see Israel Adesanya prove his greatness in terms of fighting someone that he doesn't have to worry about getting finished like he did against a Mavov or DDP, and prove how good of a technical fighter he is. Would even be interesting to see him mixing grappling here and there, some clinches, vary up the game. I think this would be a good opportunity for Israel Adesanya to get a good showing in terms of redeeming some of his legacy that's kind of been fractured a little bit. And for Strickland, this isn't the most important fight. If you are Strickland, I wouldn't blame you for not winning this fight and rather fighting Anthony Hernandez, get that win as an up-and-comer, or waiting until the fallout of these next couple fights to pick off one of those guys. You know, either a Mavov, say if Barajo wins, trying to fight him, fight a Mavov again, or Barajo loses, fight him, you know what I mean? A couple things you could do there, but nonetheless, I think stylistically this fight is interesting still. I think they're both similar ages. Yeah, and I think for Adesanya, this is the fight you kind of pursue and go for. Try and get this fight back in an approachable matchup where you don't have to worry about getting finished, where you can focus purely on trying to outskill and, you know, out-technically beat someone like Sean Strickland. Nonetheless, moving on. Petr Yan and Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, I know Petr Yan is fighting Marcus McGee, and I swear to fuck if he loses, I'm going to kill myself. But this fight was mentioned here and there, and I heard it like talked about by some guys, but it never really got the hype I feel like it deserves. Bantamweight is the best fight night 5-round main event. Just is. Welterweight's got some good ones as well. Don't get me wrong, featherweights as well, especially when Max Holloway is like running through a lot of guys like Calvin Kattar, Yair Rodriguez, Arnold, you know what I mean, like during that time. But I think bantamweights, because they very rarely finish each other, they're not the best at finishing. There's not a whole bunch of power punchers really. Besides kinda O'Malley, there's not a lot of guys that just finish each other, and even O'Malley, besides Aljamain, doesn't really drop or hurt these guys all the time. But I'd like to see what I would call the most technical fight in bantamweight and maybe in the history of the UFC. Now, don't get me wrong, obviously Merab beat both of these guys, but in terms of pure skills and techniques, I think we can all agree that Merab isn't up to par with these guys, at least in the eye test, in the who's got the deep, these are two who got the deepest bag in bantamweight, by far. Deepest bag maybe in the UFC, Petr Yan got the deepest bag. Umar's got an underrated ass bag, all right? And I think in terms of Umar, who's not just gonna spam takedowns because his cardio, I don't think, can keep up with it. And he doesn't have the same type of takedown offense that Merab has. I feel like Petr Yan, who does have incredible takedown defense and scrambling ability, I think this would be very fun to see. And the striking, seeing two guys who are roughly the same height, Umar's a little bit bigger, and seeing Petr Yan try to crowd Umar while Umar, it's just, sorry, but I'm so sorry. This is one of the best fights you can put on this division right now, and people need to talk about it more. People need to give the respect for this. I think Petr Yan already has some of the best fights with Jose Aldo, Corey Sandhagen, Aljamain Sterling. The first fight, second fight was but these three fights, when both guys are willing to strike and throw consistently, where they're not scared, they're not trying to. Sometimes what Aljo did, it felt like he was, when he'd get the back, he'd win a round off it. He would try to stay as safe as possible. I feel like both of these guys are going to go at each other all out and try to out volume, out offense, try to hurt the other more meaningfully than someone like Aljamain, Merab. O'Malley doesn't really have the grappling to keep up with a guy like Petr Yan and Umar. I think these two are some of the probably top 5, top 10 most skilled fighters in the UFC, period. And to put these guys against each other while they're still young before Petr Yan starts to get out of his prime, I think if Marcus McGee wins this, can you give Petr Yan a title shot? Probably, you know, but like, if you ask me, bro, give it to Umar. I want to see Umar and Petr Yan fight. I think it's one of the best fights you can put on, one of the most underrated fights. Tell me that if Petr Yan spinning heel kicked Umar Nurmagomedov, that would not be the coolest shit in the fucking world. Nonetheless, moving on to the third fight. Kamaru Usman versus Belal Muhammad. Why did everyone just stop talking about this fight? As soon as Usman won and Belal lost, everyone was all over this fight. everyone's all over. You know what fight I forgot to mention? I forgot to mention Yair Rodriguez versus Diego Lopez. Yair Rodriguez, Diego Lopez. But, you know, I think everyone already knows about that fight still. That fight should have been on here probably instead of Izzy versus Triple, but it's alright. Bro, this is the perfect fight. They're the same age. They both have coming off damage. Usman's got a little bit more momentum, but also kind of in his prime. You know, so that championship mindset and ideal, you know, still thinks he can get back to the belt. Thinks he can beat JDM. You know, sorry to be like that. But sorry to tell you this, bro, but you're not getting the belt back, kid. You're back. You're back in the Apex. All right, you're back in the Apex when you fought Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. All right, kid. But I'm not gonna tell him that. We will, you know, for the sake of it, it's interesting to see both of these fights in terms of. I think Belal wins this, yeah? I think Belal wins it. I think Usman's striking looked very stiff. And while yes, Usman hits harder than Belal, and Belal's there to be hit at times, I think that Belal, his fight IQ, I feel like works best when he's fighting other well-rounded fighters. When he's fighting a technical striker, I guess when you're fighting JDM, all right, ain't fuck all you can do. Ain't no game plan for that kid. But Kamaru Usman, having the jab, having the right hand, having the kicks, I feel like his game is much more limited than Belal Muhammad. I feel like he is someone that is going to struggle with the volume of Belal. I feel like Usman almost looked a little bit more tired at the end of the fight, which is something we're not used to seeing. He's 38, give him a break. Belal, someone I feel like can push that pace more. His chin looked good against JDM. I think against Usman, I feel like we need to make this fight for later this year. Maybe on the same card as Islam as JDM. I know sometimes they like doing that where they'll put a #1 contendership fight under it, and then they'll put the main event there. Welterweight's such a logjam right now. I don't want Usman just waiting out for another fucking title shot. We have Sean Brady title shot, Shavkat title shot, Ian Gary wants a fucking title shot. You know what I mean? All this shit going on. JDM versus Islam is going to hold up the division for a hot minute, because if JDM wins, the division will go back to normal. Islam probably drop back down, retire, whatever the kid wants to do, you know. But if Islam wins, the division is going to be more stuck, because it's going to be like, oh, Ilia Topuria wants to move up. Oh, this, you know, at the end of the day, it's fucked if JDM doesn't win the belt, because we're going to have even more logjam. We need these fights going. We need Sean Brady, Shavkat, or Sean Brady, Ian Gary. We need that fight going. I don't know if Shavkat's still fucking injured. I don't know if he's fucking broke his pinky toe trying to fucking open up a door. All right, I don't know what's going on with the kid. All right, every time I check up on him, he's a life-threatening fucking injury, causing him not to be able to fight for 2 fucking years. But people think he deserves a title shot for choking out fucking Wonderboy Thompson and barely beating Ian fucking Gary. All right, sorry, I'm saying Shavkat Rakhmonov. Sean Brady, Ian Gary, make it. Belal Muhammad, Kamaru Usman, make it. JDM Islam, make it. Shavkat can fucking wait out because he wants to fucking just take a shit on the fucking bus, the back of the fucking bus, waiting for a fucking title shot. Fucking bums. Sorry. Nonetheless, this fight needs to happen. It makes sense. The beef is there. If Belal wins, Kamaru Usman has to drop the podcast. All right. We still haven't seen that. Just Kamaru Usman got fucking punked on a podcast by Belal Muhammad, and he just refuses to show it. Nobody gives a fuck. What's going on here? Anyway, I think I've rambled long enough about this fight. Belal Muhammad wins this, by the way. Moving on to the next fight. Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. Now this one I think is the most controversial. MMA fans love doing 2 things. They love being super fucking dramatic when an unpopular fighter like Arman Tsarukyan that not a lot of people are fans of do one thing bag, and all of a sudden they're the fucking boogeyman and who need to fucking kill themselves. Right? Everyone just hates Arman. Just everyone hates him. He pulled out the fucking fight and everyone hates him. But you know what MMA fans love to do? They love to completely forget all of this when the narrative does not suit. For example, Francis Ngannou, Ciryl Gane. Everyone saw Ciryl Gane won. Now a couple years pass by, a couple fights go on. Now Ciryl Gane looks bad. We don't want Ciryl Gane to look good because it looks bad if Ciryl Gane have beaten Francis. We want Francis to be the person that Jones ducks, so we're gonna let him get the win. But on the other hand, Peter Yan, Sean O'Malley, he lost, so we want Peter Yan to actually have gotten the win. right? It looks for these fight. Rival here is Adesanya. All of a sudden, Ilya just won that fight dominantly. They love to do it. They love to look at things that happened and just completely forget how mad they were. Because fans, at one day, they're going to be pissed off at everything. The other day, they're not going to give a fuck. So, I know for a fucking fact that Arman is the hardest fight for Ilya. Justin fucking Gaethje, who almost got Gordon Ryan back triangled by Charles Oliveira in 2 seconds and literally got choked out by Khabib's fucking ballsack going down his throat so long he started to gargle and pass out. Ilya Topuria can do whatever he wants to I do not give a fuck about this fight. Because you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? Ilya's going to fight 2 or 3 more times, however many times. Now, I don't think he's going to fight crazy a bit more. We're going to look back, he's going to be like, bro, he beat Justin Gaethje. Bro, he defended against Justin Gaethje. Lucas Tracy in 10 years is going to be like, bro. Ilya Topuria's legacy sucks. He beat, Charles Oliveira, who has 10 losses, and Justin Gaethje, who was coming off a KO loss to Max Holloway. Bro, he sucks. He fought an out-of-prime Dustin Poirier. That's what's going to happen. That's literally what's going to fucking happen with Ilya Topuria, bro. I swear to God, that's what's going to fucking happen. Arman Tsarukyan is the only person that can beat Ilya somewhere and has better wrestling than him. Not only that, Paddy Pimblett's fucking retarded. He's going to go in there and try to box with Ilya and then counter jiu-jitsu them. He's going to get fucking chinned. He's going to strike with him. Arman is the only nut hugger that I think could actually give Ilya something to worry about. Paddy Pimblett is going to marauder Max and try to menacingly smile at him so that and then eventually get fucking chinned. Justin Gaethje is going to bitch and moan all fucking day about, well, oh my God, I have to win 2 fights in a row to get a title shot. I got flatlined by Max Holloway. It was an exhibition. What the fuck do you mean it was an exhibition bout? I didn't realize you can just say wins don't count because it was from a lower weight division. Fucking hell, Volkanovski has only lost to Ilya Topuria, bro. That was an exhibition. That was a fucking exhibition. Are you kidding me? Eddie Alvarez, that was an exhibition bout. Doesn't count. Eddie Alvarez is still champion, bro. He's the lineal champion. It was an exhibition bout. Fucking stupid. Dumb fuck. I'm sick of Justin Gaethje. Part of me wants him to fight Ilya so he can get flatlined out cold. And then when Ilya eventually leaves the division as a new champ, so he can go beat Rafael Fiziev a third time by split decision and then demand another title shot. Fuck Justin Gaethje. Paddy Pimblett's coming off a Michael Chandler fucking win. Who we all know his ass. We all know his ass. Lucas Tracy, for some fucking reason, is like, bro, we know Paddy Pimblett's going to beat Justin Gaethje, so I want him to fight Arman Tsarukyan because we this, that, or the other. No, he beat Michael Chandler, who's barely top 10. I don't even know he's top 10. He might be out the top 10 right now. You do not go from way outside the top 5 to #1 contender. You know what you do? You go outside the top 5, you go to a top 5 person, Justin Gaethje's on the lower end of it, you beat that, then you fight Arman for a title eliminator bout, and then you fight the champion. That's how it works. I know the last couple of years, Dana White has just been giving out title shots to fucking random ass bums because people are like, bro, what if Yair lands a head kick on Volk? I don't know, bro, maybe he might do, let's give him a title shot, let's find out. John Silver, bro, he choked out Bryce, bro, he's a bad man, he might just knock out Volk. Mazar Evloev, who literally beat Arnold Allen, Aljamain Sterling, one of the most technical fighters in the UFC, one of the most technical fighters, probably the most technical fighter besides Volk or on the same level as Volk at featherweight. No, let's give y'all, bro, John Silver, bro. He ninja choked Bryce Mitchell, bro, who got flatline KO'd by Josh Emmett. Fucking dumb as fuck. Arman Tsarukyan is the best fighter at lightweight besides Ilya. He is the biggest. He is a big lightweight. He is someone that could take down Ilya. Ilya was pushed on the fence against by Oliveira. He got taken down by Bryce Mitchell. I do think Arman is going to give him problems there. Arman is also someone who's going to use kicks on the feet, try to stay safe. Now, could he get check hooked like he did against Gene Silva? Probably. He's sort of a very lazy one too. I would not be surprised if he does end up getting KO'd by Ilya. I'm still going to pick Ilya, of course, but in terms of what's the most interesting, what I want for Ilya, who's going to speed run legacy, who's not going to be here a long time, I don't give a fuck about the dumb fucking narrative about him hurting his back. He can make 155 on the dot. He can do it. Now, if he does it a second time, okay, maybe fuck him. But this is the best fight. Make this fight. Islam is going to be busy for a while. I want to get this fight done. Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett. It's so easy, but everyone just keeps bitching about shit they're going to forget about in 2 years. At the end of the day, if Ilya beats Justin Gaethje, no one's going to care in 2 years. But if Ilya beats Arman, who may go on to become champion after Ilya and Islam, not saying this necessarily the case, but hypothetically, or goes on to beat other guys like Paddy, it's going to look way better. Give it to Arman. Stop bitching and moaning about him missing fucking weight. I don't give a fuck. He's the best fighter at the division. He's earned the fucking title shot. He still beat Charles Oliveira. MMA Guru is coming on like he beat him a long time ago, bro. He needs to fight Dan Hooker. Why the fuck do you need to fight Dan Hooker? He doesn't. Paddy Pimblett does not get the title shot for beating Michael Chandler. Justin Gaethje barely beat Rafael Fiziev in a close-ass fight and is coming off a one-fight win streak. Arman Tsarukyan is the best win streak, the best wins, the best performances. Give it to fucking Arman. Swear to fucking God, bro. Have him fight Arman, JDM Islam. See how that goes. JDM wins. It's gonna be a long time. It's gonna be a long fucking time. All right, there's time. Let him fight him. Let Arman let Paddy, Gaethje fight. Figure them out themselves. The winner can fight Ilya. Okay? There we go. I still don't say they deserve a title shot, by the way, if they do it. But if we're going to just give out title shots, there's not really anyone else there besides Max Holloway, seeing how that goes. But nonetheless. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys had fun. Let me know what you guys think of these matchups. Let me know what you guys think. Also, I didn't mention, I think Peter Yan beats Umar, and I think Israel Adesanya loses to Sean Strickland, but I think it could be interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good one.